Okay, so how are we going to filter those data? How are we going to make it so that there's no little artifacts there, no little bumpy bumpies? Okay, well, this is good because I've done this before with the X and Y data. X and Y data of where they're looking are the same way. There's little glitches here and there, little bumpies that we had to get rid of. So maybe we can more or less steal the type of thing that we did there, solution, from the XY data. So one thing we did, we said, well, this might be all we did actually. So that we said the raw Y position data, if it's less than 1 or greater than 260, we threw it out and we made it not a number value. In other words, just as a little marker to be ignored, to not be included in means and so forth. That may be all we did. Oh, look at this. If pupe A is less than 1 or pupe is greater than 100, then we throw it out. That's lovely. So any pupil size value over 100 or less than 1 is thrown out. So that's really good. So we don't have any zeros in there messing us up, which could be a problem. So we have this pupe size clean. Okay, so this is lovely. Now all we have to do is kind of redo this. So what I want to do is, let's look at the raw data for somebody. Raw raw I data. I don't know if this is it. That's pretty raw. Yeah, good. All right, so see the pupil size is here. It's an integer, I guess, which is interesting. Okay, it's either 61, 62, 63, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if we can like run into a funky number. Actually, okay, yeah. Let's go down to an actual trial. So the xstat value here is 1, so that means we're on trial 1. It's all 60s and 61s and 62. Okay, look at this. Funk-tasticness. This is a 47. Holy crap, and a 20. And then it goes back to 62, 63. So look at this. We're at 63. The pupil is roughly 63 whatevers. And then it goes to 20 for a couple of frames, and then it goes back to 60. Now, I really do not think the pupil became 1/3 the size for each frame is 8 milliseconds. So for 16 milliseconds and then reverted to 60. I think this is an artifact. So how can we filter the data? I find it easier to think in Excel rather than coding stuff. So I'm going to figure out how to do it in Excel. So what if I said, well, let's take the, let's see. It's tough because you have to filter the data based on the data that are around it. So if I would say equals average, and I take the average of maybe 5 frames at a time. Okay. And then I also take the standard deviation of those 5 frames. Okay, that's not right. Standard deviation, okay, is 1.7. So now I'm going to create a new thing here. So look at this. So if I take this, what it's going to do is now I can even paste it down, a lot of times. I can even do it for every single frame. Oops. I think I have an idea. So what I want to do is probably, I hate Excel for graphics, so I'll just graph it in that way. All right, so just for those, like whatever that was, 20 frames of average data equals, and I'm just going to paste in those frames that I just did. And then I'm going to grab the standard deviation data that I just created. For those, what? How many frames is it? 41 frames. Standard deviation data equals. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just plot the average data. Is that what it's called? Average data. Where are you at? Theoretically, a graph has been created. Oh, I see. Okay, I have to close out of this. What it did is it created the graph on this. So if I close this, it'll make a new graph. So look at that. So these are it's pupils. Pupil size 62 or whatever, hovering around. I'm taking the average of 5 at a time, but then going 1 frame at a time in that 5 average, and then it dips way down, and then it goes back. How many frames does it? Oh, okay. Well, so hold on. I'm going to say hold on, which means on this same axis that I just made, I don't want you to delete the old thing. Now I'm going to plot standard deviation data. Okay, and so as the standard deviation is basically 0, and then it goes way the heck up. So how can we make a rule, like an algorithm, that would throw out these frames? What if we just... Yeah, no. So 60... really goes from like 26 to 40. So really there's a disturbance. If I took the actual raw data too from... I'd like to plot the raw data as well. Not just the average and standard deviation. So I'm going to grab that and raw data equals. And then I'm going to say plot raw data. And then now that's on my little plot too. Okay. So I can kind of see, it's like, what is it? I'm going to zoom in, tools. Zoom in. Right around here. From the raw data, where the raw data sort of jumps away from 60. So it's really what, frame 29-ish? Through frame 39. So it's really like this 10 frame. I could look at this too and figure it out. It's really 10 frames where it's messed up. So we have here 60. I mean, that's a 3 unit jump. So that's probably where it's starting to get messed up. So this one, and then all the way to like 61 or so. So how many is that? That's 8. So this artifact is 8 frames of messed upness. So I think we kind of need to take a larger average than 5 at a time. What if we took an average of 10 at a time? This is called a sliding window. And it is a very common way to filter data and throw out, once you, it's called a moving average or sliding window. Let's do 11, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 11. I'll take this in. All right, let's try that again. Now I can pretty easy. Average data equals So I've written over the average data that were computed based on a window size of only 5 frames at a time, and now I've done it by 11 frames at a time. And now I'll do the same for the standard deviation. This is just so I can plot it. And now I'll say, did I kill my figure already? What did I do? I'll just say figure, create a new figure. When you type in figure in that, it makes one of these, a little thing that it's going to draw a figure. So now I'll say the same things I said before. Plot average data. Hold on. Plot standard deviation data. Hold on and plot raw data. And okay. All right. So this is what I. Still thinking about this. I feel like this should be thrown. So what I could do right now is have this and make a rule in the data and for each frame and be like, hey, take the average of that frame, and if the current frame is more than 2 standard deviations away from the average, throw it out. But then I'd be keeping this frame and this frame, which I think these are messed up too. At least this first one, 59. All right, this video is getting too long. I'm going to, I'll send this one to you guys, but I'll fiddle with it some more and make another video once I get a solution of what I actually want to use.